Okay, we're out of Dark Knight Rises, and just me and her in the video, even though we had a full group with us.
Champagne goers had to go home. Other people
Yeah,
people
Ed and Megan were with us, but it's late. They had to head back. They live like 90 minutes away, so they had to head back. Dave had some personal stuff, so he had to take off. Hey, color corrected itself. So they took off. So it's us. Okay.
I can't believe you didn't like it. Awesomely, it was awesome.
Well, full disclosure, like, love Batman Begins. Love it. I think Batman Begins is, top of my head, probably the best superhero origin story I've seen. Love The Dark Knight. Love it. Love both of them. Love both of the other Christopher Nolan ones. And so yeah, I went into this. I went into this, you know, with really high hopes and everything like that. But
I like the other two better than this one, but I really like this one.
I thought this movie was a goddamn mess.
Why?
Really?
Yes, I really liked it.
I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay.
How can you say something's a big goddamn mess?
Because something can be a mess and still be okay. I like plenty of movies that are a fucking mess, but I think they're okay.
What didn't
This
you like
movie
about
was
it?
the Heaven's Gate of superhero
It was
movies.
not the Heaven's.
Yeah, it was.
No.
This movie is
There was
really
no
bloated.
15-minute dancing scene at the beginning.
Well, it's not exactly like Heaven's Gate, but there was one thing that I was worried about going into this. Like,
Casting?
I thought, no, not at all. No.
Okay, say something on casting before we get to the plot. Sorry.
I probably should have been worried about that in some instances, but one thing that I was worried about is, and this really didn't have anything to do with the movie, I kind of thought, I was like, I'll bet you I will go to this movie and think that it's really fucking good, but given that it's the third part in a trilogy, coming after something as hugely successful as The Dark Knight, it's gonna get nitpicked as shit by people. And you know what, if this movie gets nitpicked as shit, it fucking deserves it.
You seem really angry.
I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
So, okay, since you weren't expecting casting snafus, what didn't you like then? Since you
Anne
said you
Hathaway, everything about that.
Do you know who
I
was,
hated
do you know
Selena
who was
Kyle.
up for her?
Who?
Charlize Theron,
Yeah, okay.
Angelina Jolie, Natalie. Well, I think Charlize Theron would have been phenomenal.
Been fine.
Natalie Portman, Jessica Biel.
Oh God, no.
No, but I think Charlize Theron would have been a better choice.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah, I think she would have been phenomenal.
Far. But it wasn't just Anne Hathaway. I hated everything about Selena Kyle in this movie. I hated the fact there was no reason Catwoman needed to be in this 3-hour movie. There was no reason she needed. That could have been anybody. It didn't have to be Catwoman.
It was pandering.
I hated every time that character popped up on screen. I hated her fucking line delivery. I hated everything she fucking said when she was bringing in, like, cat puns, which really only happens like twice.
They never actually refer to her as Catwoman.
They don't. But whatever.
Right. She actually thought she was auditioning for Harley Quinn. I read up on it.
Yeah.
She didn't even know she was auditioning for Catwoman.
But so it seemed like a character from a completely different type of Batman movie that was in this. It was wildly distracting and out of place.
Yeah.
And
it was like they needed the other, like, I mean, there's a love interest, but it was like they needed that second kind of rival to Batman love interest.
If there's one thing I thought that it did well, was that it didn't go completely predictable in making Selena Kyle the love interest.
Yeah, no,
like, really, it only shows signs of that, like, towards the end. This movie, I thought there were a lot of really good things about it. The movie's bleak as shit.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt was
He's great. He's great. The movie is bleak as hell, and I liked that. It's the bleakest out of all three of them. That I liked. I liked that it was more or less an ensemble piece. Really, the name of this movie could have been just simply Gotham.
Yeah.
You know? I liked that. I liked that it was kind of... I mean, I think some people might be put off by that it really is ensemble. But I did like that, and there are some set pieces in this movie that are amazing. The climax of the movie is really good. Yeah. The action set pieces, when the bombs are going in the football field.
That was the best like, terrorist sequence they have set up to where they just completely shut off Gotham, and Bane has like this, big thing with the bomb and everything, and it's just this coordinated thing where they were putting it, we're doing spoilers, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. Everybody's going to want to see it.
It shows this in the trailer.
Okay, so they're putting explosives in the construction work, and the construction is up front. So then they coordinate it, and you just see these mass explosions overview, bridges dropping, an entire football stadium while a game's going on just starts falling down, and they trap all the cops inside. It was just the most intricate, coordinated act like that I've ever seen in a movie that I can remember.
Yeah.
And it was done well. It wasn't,
Yeah, it was well done. Yeah, it was predictable because it showed it in the trailers. It showed
but not the extent.
But you knew that the Bane was going to get away with setting off these bombs.
Right.
You knew
it was
that.
Still cool.
Well, I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying it was predictable because the trailers showed the football stadium blowing up, but it didn't show that Richard Alpert was mayor. That was pretty cool.
See, I don't watch a whole lot of different trailers because
in the trailer it showed it showed the bridges blowing up and stuff like that in there, so I knew that was going to happen. But it was still a really good sequence. Again, the action in the movie is done really well. I got to talk about Bane.
Okay, say one more thing about Catwoman or non-Catwoman. It was really weird because I know she stated that she modeled it after the original inspiration for Catwoman, but it really seemed like she was trying to slip into that Michelle Pfeiffer Batman Returns.
It was really out of place.
And it wasn't consistent. It was just like, even when she was dressed up as Catwoman, it wasn't consistent, so it was really
It's like, why is she talking like this?
Every once in a while. And I mean, it's not just like a flirtatious smartass line. It was just sporadic and random. She would go into that, deep Michelle Pfeiffer-ish tone. Yeah,
and it was so out of fucking place.
It was.
And that's great in Batman Returns. Max Schreck is great in Batman Returns, but Max Schreck in this movie wouldn't have worked, and that kind of delivery that she was doing in this didn't work. Honestly, this movie really could have been called "Why the fuck are they talking like this?" Like, even in Batman Begins and Dark Knight, which I love both of those movies, Christian Bale has never been my favorite Batman. And so when you have Bale in this movie still doing that voice, which is still unintentionally hilarious.
I love the spoof they have of that.
Yeah. So, but then when you have him doing that, acting opposite other people who also sound goofy, it's really distracting.
Bane sounded like a cross between Sean Connery and Darth Vader.
He sounded like a Transylvanian Sean Connery.
Yeah.
That's what he sounds like in this fucking movie. He sounds like Sean Connery. Ed and I are sitting there laughing our asses off because you have Bane in this movie going, "The day is mine, Batman."
Yeah, it was
fucking really. And not only that, but that voice was so loud that there was never a moment where I believe this is actually being said in this scene. It's so loud. So loud.
It seemed like there was a microphone.
Way louder than everyone else in the movie. It did not ever seem like this is what this guy actually sounds like right here. That this sound is happening at this exact moment. It didn't at fucking all. And the fact that he sounds like Sean Connery, so you have this character looks really intimidating. He looks scary and he's doing scary shit, but you have him talk like that, it renders all of these scenes where he's supposed to be scary and intimidating, and it's unintentionally funny.
Yeah, I guess maybe they were trying to go for
half the time I couldn't tell what he was saying.
Yeah, anytime he was projecting, it got distorted, and it took me a minute to kind of I had to think about it. I was like, I guess that's
when he was saying like a really long sentence. I found it very hard to understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
I gave up after a while. I was like, I can't understand this fucking guy. I'm just gonna quit fucking trying. But when he was saying really short bursts of 2 or 3 word lines. That was fine. I could understand that when I wasn't cracking up that he sounded like Batman, or that he sounded like Sean Connery.
That was one of the issues in the testing, is they really couldn't understand Bane, and they said that they had gone back and worked on it, but at the same time, I don't know how much audience testing they did, because obviously if you have somebody that knows the script, you're gonna hear it better than, someone who doesn't know what he's supposed to be saying. And I don't know why they made it to where it seriously sounded like he had a microphone in his face piece. And, I do love that he was closer to what he was in the comics, because he was this, powerful, very, very smart, and of course Batman
But isn't he
Returns ruined
strong
everything.
in the comics? Isn't he strong? You get it from me. I don't read a lot of comics, but isn't he strong because of like a chemical injection or something like that? And in this, and I'm not really gonna nitpick that, because I'm sure plenty of comic book fans can correct me here on all of this, but so in this he's just wearing a mask as like a pain reliever,
yeah, because he got fucked up, and I think they went to work that into like the whole tying it together. And awesome cameos, by the way. You get to see Liam Neeson. I squeed.
That was pandering.
I know it was pandering, but it was pandering to me, and I loved it so much.
And
I
so
love
was
that
the
Scarecrow
Cillian
came
Murphy
back.
thing.
I love that Scarecrow. That was. Okay.
Why did that?
I like him.
I like him too, and I thought it was kind of funny when he was in Dark Knight, but in this, it was really fucking forced that it was him.
Well, at the same time, though, they released everybody that was in jail. So
yeah, I'm not saying that it's unbelievable. I'm just saying it wasn't entirely necessary. And the Robin thing.
Okay. What happens is with the bomb, Batman, takes it out and supposedly dies, and essentially he retires secretively, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, who is this cop and just very involved, is kind of, he turns in his badge at the end. It was like, fuck it, I don't want to live in a world like this. And I was like, oh, please tell me they're going like Batman Beyond, to where for those of you, I'm sure any Batman fans know what that is, but essentially the new Batman type thing. But they do, but then they ruin it, because he goes to like a safety deposit box or whatever, and he's like, oh, let me show you my legal name. And she was like, oh, you should use that more often. Robin, that's a nice name. I was like, no! Why did you have to go there?
That was Ed and I were like, really?
Well, the thing is, though, I read, and they said that they would never bring Robin into these movies, and they technically didn't, but it was a nod to it that didn't need to be there. So it was told to Christian Bale, and I'm wondering, I'm just like kind of curious. It was like, no, Robin's not going to be in these movies. All right, Bale's done shooting. Let's slip this shit in. But
I felt like an idiot.
I felt Robin's like a sidekick.
I felt like an idiot for not predicting that was going to happen once it happened. The twist with the girl,
that was great.
I didn't see that coming. That surprised me. There's other things about this thing too, like Alfred just disappears halfway through the movie.
Michael Caine had other things to do.
And he's doing the Swarm too. A lot of the things that Bane was saying in this movie, I'm kind of like, is he supposed to be like Occupy Wall Street or something? Like,
but it was all the truth.
What?
Hold on real quick on the Robin thing. I didn't see it coming, but only because I had read about how he said he was not putting Robin in those movies. So I was seriously, as it was progressing, like at first I was like, oh, they should, that'd be cool if they did this. And then it's progressing, I'm like, yes, they're going to do it. And as soon as they said Robin, I was like, why?
I'm sure.
Robin was a sidekick, and it didn't need to be there. It could have been like the next step. And I know, he's saying he's done, but they still set it up, so it was weird. And then there was this whole thing with Alfred wanting, Christian Bale, or Bruce Wayne, sorry, it's like 3 a.m. Not wanting Bruce Wayne to do this anymore, and he's like, oh, I, pictured you at a cafe with a woman, and so that's how it ends up, and you find out Bruce Wayne's alive as he's sitting at the fucking cafe with Catwoman, and it's kind of like, and then he gets up and goes away, which, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Dave had issues with that. If you want to know what the people thought of it, Ed said that he that he loved it, even though he also thought it was a mess too, because we were laughing at about the same moments in the movie. Megan, I'm not sure. Did she like it?
I don't know. She was given dude's jumper cable, so we didn't really have a chance to talk to her that much.
Dave hated it because Dave's reasoning for not liking it was Batman never fucking quits. That's why.
And so I had to tell him, I was like, all right, so, like, Batman Beyond, he's like, suck to, Batman never quits.
Batman never fucking quits.
I love you, Dave.
But, so, man, you know, I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of people fucking yelling at me about this, but I'm sorry. I'm not sucking Christopher Nolan's dick on this one. I loved every movie that he's done except for this one. I did not go into this thing wanting to nitpick it. I am not an over nitpicker. I didn't love it, but I gave a positive review to freaking Prometheus, you know?
I didn't see that.
So, this one, it was all over the fucking place.
I'm not saying it's perfect, but it was very enjoyable in my opinion. Like, yes, it has its faults, definitely. You know, I mean, on point with Catwoman, Bane, all of that. I was just, it's whatever. It was still fun. It's definitely.
I didn't think it was that fun.
I did. It's definitely the least
of the
weakest.
Trilogy.
Sorry, yeah, it's
it
definitely the weak. I'm letting her know. Speaking to the viewers.
The first time Bane started talking in this thing,
I was like, Sean Connery meets Darth Vader.
I didn't think Darth Vader, because
he even did the little wheezing thing when
I
Batman,
wasn't thinking I wasn't thinking Darth Vader, because in Darth Vader I can buy that voice is actually going on right there, even though it wasn't. I mean, it was still dubbed by James Earl Jones, but at least sounded like that voice was actually happening
robotic,
in these scenes. Well, this one, it doesn't. And when he starts talking and he sounds like Sean Connery and it's so fucking loud, I fucking sat there and was like, holy shit, this is gonna be the next fucking 3 hours.
Well, I don't know. I pictured it as if Sean Connery were to play Darth Vader, that's what he would sound like. So that's what I took that for. But aside from the voice, the character was phenomenally developed. The
character was fine. The character was well developed, had a really good backstory. But the problem was that fucking voice. Yeah. Anytime he was supposed to be intimidating, he wasn't at all. It's just
even yelling. There wasn't even really any yelling other than projecting announcements that I can think of. Like anytime, I don't know if they just couldn't do it because of the voice constraints and people not being able to understand from where they were before, or if they were just trying to make them off to be, you know, just very cool and serious. But you know, any tension times, it was just kind of loudly forceful talking. He never really had any kind of, you know, fierce screaming type thing.
What happened to him at the end? What happened to him at the end? Did he die at the end of that movie? This is another fucking flaw. I can't remember what happened to Bane at the end. The last thing I remember was he was fighting him, and he kicked him off of him. And what happened to?
Because I know he was like, "Tell me, and then you have my permission to die." I was like, "Oh snap!"
I did like when he when Batman.
Oh, Catwoman came in and shot the fuck out of him, and then was like,
she did?
Yeah, she came in on the motorcycle.
She shot. Yeah. Oh, so he was dead after that?
Yeah, because she was like, your policy on guns.
Okay, well that was anticlimactic.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why she said that line about guns and his.
Yeah, I remember the scene, but it didn't hit me that he was supposed to be dead right there.
Yeah, no, she shot the shit out of him.
Really, anyone could have shot this guy in the fucking head.
And, you know, they had to kissy face, so she had to be there to kissy face.
And then not even that, like, this guy could have been shot in the head, like, at any moment in this fucking movie.
Anywhere, really, he was exposed.
I liked, when Batman makes the bat signal with fire on the bridge. That was great. The reason why I like that, because I didn't like that. I thought that was preposterous, because I was like, when did he fucking do that? And, but then it cut to Bane looking at it, going, that's impossible.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, right? Kinda. And...
Well, in Punisher, like the fucking skull thing in the parking lot.
I could have bought that. I bought that more than this, honestly. Frank, I could picture Frank logistically kind of doing that. In this, like, I don't know. It seemed like, when did he do that?
He had one of his
I know I'm over
Yeah,
nitpicking at this point. I know I am.
No, but now it's just for funsies because there was,
now it's for fun. Yeah.
there was, I mean,
It's like he was hiding his bat plane in an alley.
Oh yeah, he's got a bat plane that's a fucking spaceship.
I'm just having fun right now.
No,
like,
yeah, and I mean, it's just one of those because near the beginning when he comes back, he makes his comeback. It's this big scene, very choreographed with like chase scene, and then all of these fucking cops, and you see an overhead view of the streets just full with cops, and then he goes in the alley, and Hotshot is like, we got him. It's like a rat trapped in an alley, and then he just comes out with this big ass fucking plane. Well, they've got choppers and shit looking for him. It's like, how can he land that thing and they not figure out where he is, because he didn't even do anything covert. They ended up on like. Well, he came through the waterfall that one time, but the other time he just lands it on a building, and that's where it's parked till the end of the movie. So it's one of those, it's like you didn't even kind of fly the navigator, zoom out of speed there. You just kind of, this is where I'm going, and they left him alone.
How did Bruce get back to Gotham after he escaped that prison?
He walked.
The island was completely closed off. Did he walk over the ice?
Yeah, because he had the little flare there, so I guess. I don't know. It's not said.
I didn't enjoy the movie. When here's how I am with like kind of nitpicking at shit like that. If I'm enjoying the movie, I don't care. I enjoyed Prometheus. I didn't care about all the stuff that you could kind of bitch about with that movie. I didn't care. I was really enjoying myself. The story hooked me and it had me. This one didn't. So, like, you kind of tend to fixate on stuff like that more so with something that you're really not enjoying. Batman Begins and Dark Knight, both, I thought they were just jaw-droppingly good. Like, I thought they were just stunning fucking movies. This movie had none of that. This movie did not have any... I did not have any moment in this movie where I was like, wow, where I was like, any kind of wow factor or anything.
Except the explosions.
That was fine, awesome. But I knew it was coming.
That's why I try not to watch,
there was
like,
nothing shocking. There was nothing shocking. It was well done, really well done, and the climax is really good. The climax is it kind of cuts away a lot a little too soon when somebody's getting killed. Yeah. Like that seemed like kind of choppy, but
at least it wasn't shaky Hunger Games.
No, not at all. The directing style is on par with the other movies.
What speaks volumes is the most powerful, compelling character in this movie, in my opinion, is Blake, which is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. Phenomenal. Like I think it's his best performance I've ever seen. And I mean, I've seen quite a few of his movies way back, like 10 Things I Hate About You. Yeah, Angels in the Outfield. Days. Yeah. So it's like, I feel so old. I've seen this kid grow up. And just, I mean, I never looked at him once and didn't buy that he couldn't have been that character.
Yeah, he was really good.
Essentially, not necessarily stole the movie, but he was the best character in that movie.
He's the only one that acted like a fucking human being. Yeah.
I mean, you've got Commissioner Gordon. He was fine,
He's
but
great.
He was a very
Alfred
side character.
Alfred is fantastic until he disappears out of the movie. Bale, when Bale is Batman and he's screaming at Bane and stuff like that, again, it was like with the other movies, Joker. But this one it was even more laughable because you had Bane sitting there talking like Sean Connery to Bale's Batman, like but Bale as Batman did have some really powerful stuff towards the end of the movie.
When he's in that pit, I like that where it's like you see him growing and getting back what made him.
The movie was Rocky 3.
It was. I was watching it.
Rocky
he's doing
3.
all this build up, and it's like anger pisses you off, and he's got to climb out of this huge ass thing. Gotta get that eye of the tiger back, Bruce. And he's doing the sit-ups, and he's doing the push-ups.
Gotta get that look back.
Yeah, I'm just like, Rocky montage.
Yeah, he fights Bane, loses severely, trains, comes back at the end. It was Rocky 3. The relationship between... No, 3 was Mr. T, where he fights Mr. T, loses. No, Ivan Drago kills Apollo Creed, and then this was Rocky 3, because like Rocky with Mr. T in that, they both fight, and then Rocky loses severely, then trains, gets the Eye of the Tiger back, and comes at the end and then beats Mr. T. That's the relationship between Batman and Bane in this movie. It's Rocky 3.
Okay, yes, but I was looking at it from more like the challenge, I'm stronger with the whole league and everything, and kind of leading up to that end, because I took it like the Rocky 4 training montage. But maybe I'm partial because Rocky 4 is my favorite. Shut up, Rocky 4 is awesome.
Well, I mean, Rocky 3 had training montages in it, too.
But 4 was
They all do.
And 4 had the robot. Happy birthday, Polly.
Yeah, right, they combined that robot with Mr. T, and you got Bane.
Oh my god, it's true.
So... I mean, yeah, to complete the trilogy, it's worth seeing, to see how it ends and everything. If you don't like the other 2 movies, I don't think this is gonna win you over.
If you don't like Anne Hathaway and you're not sure after this review, don't do it. I am not a huge Anne Hathaway fan. I'm not a fan, period.
I think she's a good actress. I just hated her in this movie.
She's also not that great of a person in real life, but
whatever.
well, I don't know. Stuff like that deters me. It's if you're gonna be like a douchey McDoucherson. But I know there's like a lot of people that are douches anyway. But her performance doesn't hold up to allow her to do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's not good. I mean, she's not awkward or anything. It's just not a good performance. They really should have gone with Charlize Theron.
Do you recommend the movie?
I do. I think it was a fun flick. I mean, if you're watching this and you're, going on recommendation, you know what's wrong with it. We talked about it. The Bane shit, Anne Hathaway and the Batman. But I enjoyed it.
If you love... I didn't think it was a bad movie. I thought, at best, it was okay. But...
I would marathon the trilogy. Like, that's not one that I would leave out.
Sure, it's worth going to see to complete the trilogy, to see how it ends and everything. Yeah, but if you didn't like the other 2 movies, I don't think you're...
Oh god, if you didn't like the other 2, why... Yeah.
Well, I know plenty of people who don't like the other 2, but are still going to see this movie because they just like Batman. I don't think this movie's going to change your mind on jack shit.
No, the other 2 were way stronger. Okay, so let me ask you this. If you had them at home, which you wouldn't because you don't like the third one, but if you had them at home and you were marathoning them, would you pop the third one in, or would you leave it out and go on to something else and just watch the first 2?
If I'm marathoning them, I'm doing it with the intent to watch all of them. When I've marathoned Rocky, I still watch Rocky 5. So yeah, that would be fine. I would, if I got them in like a box set or something like that, I'd own this. Sure, I have Batman and Robin. So, not because
Bane is way better in this than Batman and Robin.
Yeah. He's different kind of hilarious in this.
It wasn't even... it was more distracting than hilarious if you're gonna compare it. If you're gonna compare it to Batman and Robin.
It would have been funny if the little girl... Well, the twist in the movie involving this girl character, who earlier in flashbacks was a little girl. It'd be funny if when she grew up and was with Bane, if she turned out to be Poison Ivy. Why do they keep throwing these 2 together?
Yeah. No. And
they had snow in this movie. Mr. Freeze could have popped up. He's walking across the ice and...
Yeah, I really liked the city pans. Like, I thought that
I did too. That was
really
great. I really liked that.
It wasn't like, why are you showing the city? It was...
No, that was great. That was really, really well done. So I don't know if I got anything else, really, honestly. Do you? I
mean, yeah, I would suggest it if you like the other 2. If you didn't like the other 2 and you're curious, wait till it comes out on video or what have you. You're definitely... It's the weakest of the 3, so you're not gonna like this if you didn't like the other 2.
Alright, well, it's gonna be better than the movies we got next week.
I kind of want to see The Watch.
The Watch. Yeah, we got The Watch.
It's got Moss in it from IT Crowd. I want one.
Oh, it's gotta be good.
It is! I want one, and he can stay at home on my couch and, like, work on the computer and just be cute all day.
So we got The Watch, and, Step Up 4, so...
Have fun, Irving.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys later.